Yo YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy SalvationsElite. We're back with another video, guys, and today we are talking about Season 2 CWL Anaheim, and what you guys need to know coming up for this event this week. So again, I mentioned this in a handful of videos, but on Thursday I'm flying out to Anaheim for the event. I work with MLG as a referee, so I'm looking forward to this event. Black Ops 4 is going to be playable this event, so I'm looking forward to that. And obviously, it's going to be really fun to see OpTic's new roster, how they can perform. And the open bracket looks like it's going to be pretty decent this event, so I'm looking forward to that as well. So for those of you who haven't really been paying attention to Season 2, it's been pretty interesting so far. In Division A, Red Reserve and EG were at the top, and in Division B, Rise and OpTic were at the top, actually. So I don't think anybody really saw Red Reserve coming out with that much fire, shooting that straight, and ended up going 6-1 in Division A, which, I mean, I definitely didn't see coming. I didn't think that was going to happen. And I think one of the other biggest surprises was FaZe and LG. FaZe is in 5th place in Division A. And in Division B, Luminosity finished in 5th place. So, I mean, that's pretty rough with some of the players that are on that team and how successful they've been this year. They're going to finish that poorly in Season 2. And I think those guys are going to really come out with a lot of motivation in Anaheim, and maybe they can make some plays, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I mean, what we learned specifically, like in Division A and B, just in Season 2 in general, is that GUNLESS is the best player in the CWL. I mean, I think a lot of us already knew that going into this season, but Season 2, like, just it proved it. He is so good, man. Rise is undoubtedly the best team in the CWL right now, in my opinion. Red Reserve has been pretty successful, but they don't have like the long-term consistency, even with their roster changes or whatnot, that really convinces me that they're the second best team in CWL. They're probably one of the top 4 for sure, but I wouldn't say that they're definitely the second best. Division B was a lot more interesting to me than Division A because we had OpTic's new roster, we had LG there, we had EU, Rise, a lot of teams, Unilad even, with their changes and whatnot, a lot to play for and a lot of new things going on, and man, it really lived up to the hype. So for example, Rise beat OpTic, LG, and Unilad, but then they end up losing to EU. But EU beat OpTic and Rise. It's just really weird because OpTic 3-0'd LG, but then LG ended up beating EU. So it's like a circle of death right there with all the teams beating each other. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you watch the matches, Rise was by far the most dominant. OpTic seemed to be the second most consistent. And then EU and LG have a lot to prove still and a lot to figure out, I feel like, in a lot of ways still. And I just don't see them being as confident, and I don't think they're going to be as consistent, which could cost them at Anaheim. Then back from Division A, Red Reserve, EG, Envy, and TK all finished in the top 4. Again, at Anaheim, EG could obviously make a run. We've seen him do it already this year. Red Reserve can make a run. We've seen him do it this year. Envy can make a run. We've seen him do it this year. And I mean, that's why there's so many question marks going into this event to see who could potentially finish in that top 4, which I think is why it's a really fun event. So this is what we're all here for. So we're just gonna go down the list who I think are the favorites going in to Anaheim, basically just like 1 to 8 who I think are the most likely to win the event. I mean, number 1 obviously is Rise. I mean, they are by far the best team right now, in my opinion. They've done a lot to prove that, and they've been really dominant in Season 2. Number 2 I think is EG. They have the experience. They've already done it at an open event this year, getting into the finals, and I really like their consistency from Season 2 heading in to Anaheim. And then number 3 is Red Reserve. As we've seen, of course, they finished the top of Division A in Season 2. They played really well with that pretty fire roster of Europeans, and again, they should not be underestimated heading into Anaheim, and that could be a big problem for a lot of teams, potentially underestimating them, even now after their successful finishes in Season 2. So at 4, we have OpTic. I do believe in this roster. I think it can win a title. I think it can win an event, but I don't think that this is going to be the event. It's going to take them a little bit longer to figure things out, feel each other out, figure out how each other are going to play, and I just don't see that this is the event that they're going to make this happen. A team like Rise should beat them almost every single time, and that's probably where OpTic will more than likely meet their maker. And if they end up facing Rise pretty early on in the tournament, I just do not see them beating them. So 5th through 8th, they're really close. It'd be Envy, Luminosity, EU, and TK. They're all pretty close, packed together there. I think it's a pretty obvious tier break past OpTic. And then you got Envy, LG, EU, TK, FaZe, Echo Fox, Complexity, those types of teams. Those guys are all right there at the next level, waiting to get their shot, take their shot at, Rise, EG, Red Reserve, and OpTic. Any of them could potentially make it to the winners finals or the losers finals. I just don't see any of them winning the event. I think it's going to be one of those first 4 teams. More than likely, it's going to be Rise. They should be the heavy favorite, and I think it's going to be really exciting to see how dominant they can be at this tournament. And really, at the end of the day, Luminosity and EU are the biggest wild cards. Maybe you could throw in, like, TK in there as well. Envy again. They're just the biggest wild cards. Specifically Luminosity and EU because they have the talent to be great, especially Luminosity. And again, they could make it to the grand finals, but they could also get not even top 8. So we'll have to see. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Share the video if you guys really enjoy it. I really do appreciate that a lot. And again, it means a lot to me to see all your guys' comments down below. I can't wait to see you guys at Anaheim, and hopefully I can play some Black Ops 4. So guys, as always, I am your boy SalvationsElite, and we'll see you next time. I'm out. Spawn, they'll know where LG still is. So Octane actually spawns in cave, where if there was nobody back there, he would not have spawned in cave. He would have spawned a little bit closer to back turret. It's because he spawned in back cave. He knew there was somebody back there. He goes back to hunt.